Hey guys, welcome to 2021. In this video, I'm going to be doing a year in review for the year 2020. So when I think of 2020, obviously we think about COVID, all the horrible things that happened. Usually when December hits, I like to reflect on my year and just think about the good, the bad, and everything and how I can improve for the next year, even though it really isn't that big of a deal. Like a new year is just a new day. Some people, just go to sleep and wake up the next day as if it was just another day. I like to think of the new year as like a new outlook, just like a fresh start, even though it literally is just another day and like COVID isn't gonna just like, all of our world problems aren't gonna be solved, but it is just a way to have like a new outlook, a fresh perspective, a new start. And yeah, so I was reflecting on my year. Obviously, the three main things that come to mind when I think about like the bad things that happened in 2020 is, my YouTube channel got deleted, obviously COVID, and then something else that happened, but I don't want to, go into that. But then I was like, okay, hold up. Let me really reflect and think about the good things that happened in 2020. So I'm going to share with you guys the good things that happened in 2020. I wrote it down on my little paper. This year, it was obviously shitty for everyone, but it really helps to look on the bright side of things. And I'm like, okay, like I did a lot of good stuff this year. Like this year had a lot of good stuff in it, So let's go ahead and get started. I got my TNCC, which is my certification for the Trauma Nurse Core course. And that's a good certification to have, especially as an ER nurse. Not a lot of new grad ER nurses have that. Not even a lot of experienced nurses have that certification. So I got my TNCC. We did it through a Zoom class. It was a really good class. I learned a lot about trauma nursing and all that stuff. So it's going to be handy in the future. A big thing is I finished my EdNIT program successfully. So I remember at the beginning of my EdNIT program, which is the Emergency Nurse Internship Program, they say like, a lot of nurses, new grad nurses don't really make it through the EdNIT program. They find out that like emergency nursing isn't for them. It's like overwhelming. They just don't do well in the program, which is, it's basically the integration period it's like the orientation period. You're like, they call it the internship program, but it's just basically orientation. And so I think that's like a plus. Like I finished in March, so it hasn't even been a year since I've been a nurse by myself. And March was like when the whole like lockdown happened and I was by myself. I finished my orientation period successfully and I have integrated as part of the team in my ER. So it's cool because now some of the new grads which I don't know, I consider myself a new grad still. I don't know, how long do you consider yourself a new grad for? Like a year? But pretty much the new EdNIT people or the people that just are coming off of EdNIT, like they'll come to me and they'll ask me questions and I'll be like, girl, I can't believe I've just come so far. And like a lot of people have seen that, especially where I work. They definitely recognize that, like, wow, Tiffany, like you've grown a lot as a nurse. Like you've grown a lot. And sometimes you just need to realize that you've grown a lot, especially in your workplace, with school. Sometimes I don't realize it, but when I really think about it, I'm like, wow, like I've come a long way, especially at work. Like from a baby nurse, which I'm still a baby nurse, but it's already been like a year since I've been working there, but it hasn't even been a year since I've been off orientation, but I've come a long way and I successfully completed my EdNIT program. And yeah, that's like a milestone for me. I was employed during a pandemic. Even though it sucked, it was kind of like when people were staying at home and they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm unemployed and whatever. It's like my life didn't really change because I was still going to work like normal, I was still going to work 3 days a week and I felt bad because like a lot of people were losing their jobs and everything, and I was just still so grateful to be employed. I'm freaking grateful to be employed even during a pandemic, because I know I had some patients come in because they were like stressed out, anxiety attacks, because they were dealing with a lot at home because they didn't have a job. So I think that's a plus, is I was employed during a pandemic. This right here is like a big accomplishment for me. I used to never read. The only books I read were for school, like nursing school books, all of that, just related to school, but I never read for leisure. And when you're young, I feel like reading is just like, ew, like nerd. But once you get older, I really like reading self-help books. So these are some of the books that I read this year. This one is like a classic. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book, I feel like it has a lot of good lessons and stuff and good points, but there's just so many old examples because it's like it's like an old ass book. I read The Secret. This book is good too. This is like, you know, the law of attraction, manifestation, yada yada yiddy. And I read Retired Inspired. This book is about finances. I remember when I first got like my credit card out, the guy who helped me set it up and everything recommended this book, and it's all about like investing in your future financially, basically. And it's a really good book, but with all three of these books, they mean nothing if you don't actually apply them to what you're doing. And currently, I'm reading another book. I feel kind of embarrassed on the title. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed on what it is, but I'll share it another time. Anyways, let's say what else is here. That one I can't really share because it's a little inappropriate. I took a road trip to Tennessee and got to see the Smoky Mountains. So this was a couple months ago. Yes, I know, traveling during a pandemic, oh my god. We wore masks. Things were stricter in Nashville and in Tennessee than they are in Florida. Like, there was a curfew. They make you wear your mask on the street, like while you're just literally walking on the street. Like, that is not like that in Florida. They actually like gave out fines. So things were more strict. Obviously, you're washing your hands, sanitizing, all that stuff. And that was in August, so it was a couple months ago, so we're good, you know? Yeah, I never have been to Nashville. I went to Nashville. We went to the Jack Daniel's distillery, which was really cool. We went to like the Belle Meade plantation. We went to the Andrew Jackson Hermitage, which was really cool. I'm like kind of a nerd. I kind of like history stuff too when I travel. We went to like Broadway Street, is it? Like, that street is so cool. I want to go to a honky tonk. Like, it's so cool. And then literally hiking the Smoky Mountains. We went on the hardest trail, even though we're not really like pros at hiking. We went on the hardest trail. It took literally like 4+ hours to do that trail, and it was intense. It was so intense, but it was so worth it. It was just, I love hiking. I really like hiking. I got certified with ultrasound IVs, which, if you know anything about, you know, IVs, ultrasound IVs, like, it's a pretty cool skill to have. It's one of my favorite skills, and it's awesome being able to do it by yourself. I'm still practicing, like, I'm not perfect, but I was so proud. Last time I worked, I had like 2 people ask if I could do an ultrasound IV for them, and I was like, okay, do a quick little prayer, because it's not guaranteed that I'm gonna get it, but I got it. And it was so good. So if you don't know what ultrasound IVs are, pretty much, you know, peripheral IVs, when you literally just palpate, you know, I don't really go by sight, go by feel. When you know, feel the vein and you put in an IV like normal. But there's some people, like dialysis patients, that only have one arm, people that are overweight where it's literally so hard to find a vein, people that have like no veins at all, they're like blown, people that are like IV drug users that literally they have like no veins. There's some people that you literally cannot get a vein by feeling it or seeing it or anything. So that's where the ultrasound machine comes in handy, and you can see like the depth of the vein, how deep it is, how big it is. But I'm so happy because you just work more independently. You don't have to be relying on other people, be like, hey, like, can you get this ultrasound IV for me? Like, you can just do it yourself. I completed the PEP program at work, which the PEP program is the Professional Excellence Program. And what that is basically, the whole point, the whole reason why I did it was to get $1 extra, like an hour, you get more money. But it's like a bunch of stuff that you have to do. You have to, like, I read some like journal articles. I'm an IV insulin super user, so I pretty much, whenever anybody in the department has a question about how to set up glucomander or IV insulin infusions, I can help them do that. And I like check people off on how to set it up properly because it's really confusing. It's very, like, insulin is so, like, you need to pay attention to insulin and the whole glucomander setup, like making sure you have 2 pumps, 2 lines, the Y infusion, labeling it, like, there's just a certain way that my hospital likes doing it, and it's to keep the patient safe. Well, my camera overheated, so I forgot what I was saying. But basically, PEP, you do a bunch of extra classes, a bunch of extra courses and certifications so that you can get a little extra money in your paycheck. But it's also beneficial for you because you're developing yourself as a nurse and as a professional. I'm like really trying to be all up in this emergency nursing right now. Who would have thought? I don't know, like I kind of see it because when I was little, like I wanted to be a paramedic. Like I have a vivid vision of me delivering a baby on the back of an ambulance, and I think that is where my like love for adrenaline and emergency nursing came from. But I think that vision made me think that I wanted to be like a midwife or a labor and delivery nurse, but I don't know. I don't know if I can go from like emergency nursing to labor and delivery. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see in the future. We'll see what the future holds, but right now I'm just really focused on learning so much about emergency nursing. I want to get my CEN certification this year, but we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. So I finally got the courage to dye my hair, and I'm kind of mad because I dyed my hair pretty much in July. So I wasn't going out, really. I really wasn't going out. I really wasn't filming YouTube videos, so I got to enjoy my hair color, but now it's like pretty much all like grown out. I need to redo it, like the blonde has gone away, but look at this picture. I just finally got the courage to dye my hair. So that was a big step because I've always wanted to dye my hair, but I was just so skeptical. Like I didn't know who to go to. I didn't want to damage my hair. Not gonna lie, my hair right now like has been a little damaged. I've noticed like recently, maybe because I'm always using like heat tools on it, but I love it and I just want to like dye my hair lighter. I bought my first car, which is a big step. I bought a Toyota Corolla. At one point, like, this was before my YouTube channel got deleted. So I think like before, yeah, like early May, I was like, I want to buy a Supra. Good thing I did not do that because I was kind of relying on the money I was making from YouTube to help pay for that Supra, but my YouTube channel got deleted. So I have a nice fuel efficient car, but I got it with like all of the specs and everything. It's like the SE model, which is the top model. So I love it. It's my first car that I buy by myself. And yeah, I have other plans with another vehicle that I want in the future, which y'all ain't gonna expect it. Only my close friends will know, but you guys are not gonna expect it, and I'm so excited for it. And it's something that I've been literally dreaming about for years and thinking about for years. Y'all ain't gonna expect it, that's all I'm saying. I went to, my mom doesn't know this, or my family, but I went to pole dancing classes and it was so much fun. So before the pandemic and after the pandemic, like recently, I bought a Groupon for pole dancing classes because I was like, you know, I wanna try some pole dancing classes. Like, why not? And they are so much fun, and it's a workout, and it's just, pole dancing classes are really fun, you know? So I also did salsa classes too. Yeah, that was like in January. I was doing like salsa classes in January, and then I did pole dancing classes. Do like any type of dance class. Like my friend just told me she signed up to do figure skating classes, and I'm like, that sounds like so much fun. It is so much fun to try something that you've like never done before. So after 22 years of life, I discovered my favorite cocktail. A dirty martini. Have you ever tried a dirty martini? Like, if you like olives, you're gonna like a dirty martini. I love olives. Like, ever since I was a little girl, like, I love olives. Like, straight out the jar, yum. And I discovered, like, I always saw dirty martinis, like, in shows and stuff, but I never actually had one until this year, and ever since then, I'm obsessed. I bought all the ingredients I need, all the tools that I need, the martini glasses, everything I need to make dirty martinis, and I'd be making them here at home. I had a bomb-ass Halloween costume. Like, it went to waste, but I still bought a Halloween costume, and it was so cute. Like, it was really cute. Maybe next year. Went to a pumpkin patch for the first time. It was kind of more like a daisy field, but there was pumpkins there too. I went for the pumpkin patch, but I ended up liking the daisy field more. But I went to a pumpkin patch for the first time / a daisy field in Florida for the first time. I have a picture of when I was like little. My parents took me to Spain and they took a picture of me standing in a field of daisies, and that's what it reminded me of, because there was just daisies, and it was beautiful. I went to my first ever NASCAR race in Daytona, like the Daytona International Speedway. I went to the Speedway twice. It was for the Daytona 300 and then the truck series, like whenever that was. But I went to my first NASCAR race. NASCAR races are so much fun. Like, you would think it's boring just watching cars go around and around and around. It's super loud. Like, those cars are super loud, but it's so chill. You literally, first of all, the best part about it is they let you bring your own drinks. So you just get a cooler, you put your drinks in there, your snacks in there, you go to the speedway, and you're just chilling there in the sun, drinking your Truly, watching the cars go around and around and around, and potentially crash, which is entertaining. And yeah, that was really fun. It's so much fun. In February, before the pandemic, I went to Miami. I had the most, like, unforgettable trip with my brother. Like, this memory forever. Like, look at this video. Like, we went not knowing that we were gonna see Snoop Dogg and not knowing that we were gonna see Lil Wayne. This was like, what is that football game? The big football game. What's the big football game? I can't remember what the big football game is. Super Bowl weekend. Okay, so we went Super Bowl weekend to Miami. This was before lockdown, before the pandemic. I've never had so much fun with my brother and my cousin, like, ever. Like, me and my brother were just, we were wildin', but it was so much fun and one of the best memories. And that video that I showed you is just so iconic, and I'm like, bro, like, my brother was just having the time of his life, and it was so much fun. I ate like a Kardashian at a fancy restaurant in Miami. The most expensive meal I've ever had. Like, insane. And I would have never done it if it wasn't for my friend Gabby inviting me for her birthday to this freaking Kiki on the River expensive ass restaurant in Miami. 2020 had its ups and its downs. Like, it had a lot of downs, but, you know, looking back, you just have to look at the good things that happened in the year, and there was a lot of good things that happened in the year. So those are the memories I'm gonna try to remember, you know? And that's pretty much it. So I challenge you to just reflect on your year, go through your pictures. I love, like, my pictures, my photo album is like my diary. Like, literally, I have like 7,000 pictures on my photo album. And it's like my diary, because I have a horrible memory. So, like, looking back through my photo album, I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's when I went here, that's when I did this. And yeah, so I challenge you to look back, reflect on your 2020, and just think about, try to forget about the bad things, but look at the good things that came from 2020. So I have an exciting announcement coming up that also happened in 2020, but I'll tell you guys that soon once I get situated. And yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe if you want to watch more of my videos. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.